water for me today. It is so hot here. It's going to be
Uh,
94 today.
really? Wow. 94. My goodness.
I think that's around mid 30s for you. So yeah,
Yeah,
pretty hot.
we're like 20s, 21, I think.
Oh, it's warm for the UK.
Yeah, yeah, it is supposed to be summer, so
You get one of those
we do get a summer occasionally. It doesn't last long.
yet?
Seems to be eternally winter here, or autumn or something. Yeah.
I do love the more mild temperatures. You have no. It's almost like the sun is heating up. I'm starting to think it is because it just seems hotter than I'm used to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows with the global things going on? I think the planet is getting warmer.
It
Well,
is.
England will be subtropical in about 30 years, maybe.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Growing bananas on my window, on my balcony.
I'm pretty sure England was subtropical before the we went up for a wobble before the
Yeah.
last pole
Yeah, I
shift.
think it probably was. Yeah, we were all joined to the continent, weren't we? I think
Hmm.
we could walk across to France. That'd be handy.
Yeah. Well, you still can. You
Happens
just
again.
got to go through a really shady tunnel to do it then.
Yeah, yeah. You have to jump on the chain. They charge you for it though. You can't walk for free, unfortunately.
I can imagine
Never.
now.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Hello, Michelle. Hi, Chantal. Hi, Lori. Hi, Adriana. Hello, everyone.
Sun is
Hope you all
crazy
had a
hot.
wonderful
Yeah.
sleep. Yeah. Well,
Happy
Michelle is
free.
in
Free.
Florida, so it's to be expected where
Oh.
Michelle is.
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Michelle's in Florida. Yeah. Yep. It's gonna be
Very
hot for
good.
you, huh? So, what have you been up to, Steve? Can we just do a little chit
Uh,
chat before we go into your work?
what have I been up to? Well, as I mentioned, I had reflexology this morning, which was very nice. We had cacao. We have a little cacao every other day. Morning meditation, cacao. Then I went off to have my feet tickled. I call it reflexology, which is very nice.
Yeah.
Went and bought some flowers for the house, which is flower arranging. I quite like flower arranging. And then
Yeah.
went and got some vegan and gluten-free cake, and we've got dairy-free ice cream. So I've just finished that. Coming on to your call, and I need a
Nice.
cup of tea now, which is got to have a cup of tea. And in England we've had the elections, and we've got a swing to the left, centralist left, Labour, like your Democrats,
Yeah.
it would be, I suppose. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yes. Is that what
So
happened? Did they were actually did they actually get a
they,
foothold this time? It's been what, 12
they got
years
in,
of
but yeah, out in the wilderness, because I think in this country, if you're too left, you don't get anywhere. So the party's been pulled more central, and so they booted out the what would be your Republicans, I suppose,
yes.
the Tories, and
Yes. I have some
see
friends that
if
have been
there's any
waiting a long
change.
time for that.
Yeah,
Yes, regime
there'll be
change.
some change, but these kind of things, there's not going to be massive change with the politics.
No,
It's
no, there never really is there? We gotta keep the
yeah,
status quo, make it look like the votes are doing something.
yeah, yeah. 84 here and 93 humidity. Oh, the sun isn't even out. My gosh.
Yeah, it's
Sounds.
warming
Where's
up.
Summer from? Where is she from?
Yeah, Summer, where are you at, Summer?
Somewhere hot, clearly.
Jackie's in Birmingham.
Birmingham. Oh,
Yeah.
Birmingham, England.
Yeah. We got a mix
Oh,
on
Birmingham.
here. You get a little bit of everybody around here.
Okay,
Yeah.
very nice. Tucson.
Yeah.
Oh, Tucson. Yeah. Goodness, hot.
I bet it's hot in Missouri
Snakes,
right now. I keep talking about
snakes
moving
and
south
spiders.
because I don't like winter, but then I realize how hot it gets in summer, and I'm like, no, I think I'm right, all right where I am. 'Cause these guys
Yeah.
boiling hot in South Carolina. Yep. See, I'm not surprised.
Oh, wow. Oh, Norfolk, Louisa. Very nice. Yeah, I've been to Arizona. It's very red. I remember, very red.
Yeah, it is the red clay.
Because I'm used to
Yeah.
green. Here's kind of green and red. Everything's red everywhere. You look like going onto Mars. It's very strange.
It does. I'm pretty sure they filmed a few Martian movies there, actually. It wouldn't surprise me.
Right. Oh, survived. Someone survived the Hurricane Beryl in Grenada. Oh, goodness. That looked pretty
The
intense.
weather has been getting crazy. We've been getting a lot of tornadoes here as well. Things are
Yeah.
definitely ramping up. You can see some changes. I mean, with the Earth itself, Gaia is stirring up a little bit. She's been quite active.
For a while, I think. Yeah, Gaia's been active for a while.
Mhm.
She's purging.
She is.
Purging, and also there's some interference, of course, from darker forces. But I think the Gaia is purging, and
I do
when Gaia
too.
purges, it's not always pleasant for those on the surface. You
Nope.
know, hurricanes and everything. Dubai, red and dry. I'm screaming more desert trees, please. Yeah.
Imagine.
Come to England. We have sea, we have green, we have rain. I've met people who go, "Oh, we love this climate. It's so rainy and cool." We just did a retreat in Ireland, and people from across the pond were saying they love the rain and they love the cool wind. And I'm like, really? Okay. It's all about contrast, is it? If you live in a rainy place, you want the sun. If you live in the super hot, you want the cooler. It's all about
Indeed.
balance. Yeah.
It is all about balance. Right now, it's difficult to keep the balance these days. It seems to be like it's like a teeter-totter almost
Yeah.
is what it feels like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You go up and then you go down. So your meditations have been instrumental for me. I must say, I really have been enjoying them so much.
Oh, pleasure.
Uh,
Well, there's one being rendered now through my video platform. It's called Angels of Love, Angels of Dandelion, Angels of Black Obsidian Crystal. Because I quite like blending, the cosmic angels with earth angels and these energies of pulling out and clearing and opening. And this one works on the geometry of the psyche, which is what I've been kind of getting into lately. Whereas the psyche really are our family of inner selves, our all the parts of us that we think, this is who we are. But the spiritual journey, we start to separate from these identities, but they still have their own energy. And part of the journey is upgrading that family of selves and also embracing the exiled shadow disowned selves, which are at the edge, the ones we kind of push out, go, they're dangerous. We can't have too much anger, too much sexuality, too much whatever it is. So they get pushed out. So it's kind of
those are all part of the human
healing and
experience.
unifying. Huh?
All part of the human experience. You don't want to negate the important parts, and all of it's important. You know.
Yeah. So that's what's happening now. Anyway, I'm rendering that one, and that's going up. And I've got another one which is more for my YouTube membership, which is about inspiration, connected with angels, because I really like angels. I like star races, of course, because I talk about star seeds, but I like angels a lot because I've been working for years with angels and ascended higher frequency beings, which is a lot around at the moment. So those groups and star beings, star races, and I like to kind of also mix it very practically with practical issues like safety and inspiration and boundaries. And so it's kind of cosmic, but also relates to the Earth experience, which is like, what's going on here? What are we facing? And what kind of help do people need?
Yes.
So
And some
that's
of
the
them
kind of
have been
idea.
really just beautiful. Like the higher light decree that you did, I really enjoyed that.
Oh
The
yeah.
divine Isis and Horus, that was wonderful. And just I feel elevated after I finish one of your meditations. I really do. I can feel the shift in vibration immediately.
Y-
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, glad you don't feel depressed afterwards.
Well,
That would
no,
be a
I mean,
problem.
no. Well, I just mean in general, like some days that you feel very exhausted, like it's almost like you've given a lot of your energy. So it's a way of refilling the cup, I've noticed, without
Oh
having to
yeah.
go out and do anything too, strenuous.
I'm a cup filler. This is my role,
Yes.
filling cups. Well, those ones, the recent ones with the mother wound, which I was inspired to do that one because I got bitten by a spider in England, which is strange. And I didn't know at the time I'd been bitten, but I'd been doing gardening, and then I just had an itch, and I kind of looked down. I had a kind of plum lemon size red with a hole in the middle, like somebody had bitten me. And then over 3 days, it got that size, purple. So my whole lower abdomen was purple, and I'm like, Eek. I mean, I had to go to a regular doctor because homeopathy wasn't doing it, essential oils wasn't doing it, tea tree and all that. So
Remember
I
you
did
said there were
have to
like 2
go.
puncture wounds too, right in the middle, right? But you
Yeah,
didn't see the actual spider.
no, I don't
No.
know how it got up there because I was wearing a t-shirt. I mean, if it's going to bite me on the arm or something. But no, it wanted to climb up and have a little nibble and come out. And I spent weeks meditating on this because I was always very phobic of spiders. I really had a terrible fear of them when I was younger. I did kind of heal a lot of it, and I meditated. And then one day I meditated because I wasn't getting the answer. People were emailing me suggestions, which is all nice. Here, what about this? What about that? And then I got in a meditation mother wound, and I was like, oh, mother wound. Well, can't I be told in a nicer way I've got to do something on this? Do I have to be bitten and go purple? But anyway, this was the message from the universe. So I did the whole track on the mother wound, and which was very powerful for me. It took me probably a couple of weeks for myself to integrate the whole because I listened to it myself. And then people were emailing me, go, "What about the father wound?" And I thought, I meditated, thought, "Well, yeah, well, I've also got that one as well." And so, well, let's open it up and go, "What is it?" Because at the first is, "What is the mother wound?" And I had to sit with it and look at it, and then, what do we do about it? And then, so there's always like, there's the problem, and the solution will come eventually. Just sit with it, and it gets downloaded. So that's the mother wound, father wound, and I like calling on Isis. Mother wound was easy with Isis. The father wound, I was sitting there going, "Oh, who do we call for the father wound?" But I had the feeling we had to call Isis and her son Horus, because I haven't really channeled a lot of male deities from Egypt. So
Right.
I was like, which one can I trust? That's going to be okay.
Yeah, that's a
And
good
Horus was the
question.
one that was the one that could be okay. So yeah.
Yes. He's
So
definitely a
that's
good
the.
one.
I am pretty prolific. I've got more coming through, but I think my partner gets frustrated sometimes because I can't focus on. I might not wash the dishes properly one night, and I'm like, well, I'm sorry, but I've got three downloads in my head, and maybe I missed something on one of the dishes. I'm sorry about that. So it's always like balancing this work with being on the earth plane. So, yeah,
It's not easy to do, especially when, there's so much going on down here, so many distractions, so many things that we, have to do just to function as normal humans. It's a
yeah,
lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in England, we've had the election recently, and you guys have got all of that stirring up America, haven't you? We've had it now. Hopefully, that's kind of, that bit's over. But you've still got the. I watched a little bit of the Trump Biden debate, and I'm like, I could watch probably. I watched
It
snippets
affected
of it.
my vibration immediately, so I turned it off. I immediately
Oh,
felt it start to go down. I was like, "Nope, not doing this."
yeah.
I thought I would maybe
Well,
laugh at it or something, but it just depressed me, really more than anything else.
the one thing I find amazing is Biden. His state of mind is like, how can this person be allowed anywhere near a seat of power? He's just losing it,
Politicians are
losing it.
mainly just spokes puppets anyway, there's a
Yeah,
marionette with some strings there, so they're not really
yeah.
I don't even think they're fully with it most of the time. It's like nobody's home.
But you want
And,
someone who's semi with it.
well, this is the thing. It's just politics is a charade. It's a soap opera, and the actors that inspire more arguing tend to be put in place first because they're the ones that are causing the division and they're the ones that are distracting people and getting everybody to fight among themselves. And it's all by
Yeah,
design.
yeah, and it's working because there is a lot of division and conflict on the Earth plane, and I think this is the way it has to be, really. Well, sometimes I get a bit upset by it, and I think people, you know,
Yeah.
I put posts out, and I hear people getting frustrated, impatient. When is the new age of light going to come? Why are we having to deal with this stuff? Oh, but the planet's been dark, in my point of view, when I look at it for thousands of years. It's not been a light planet, and so it's not going to change in a weekend workshop.
No,
And I know
no, it's
people go, "I've listened to your transmissions, and the new age of light's not here yet completely. Why not?" And I'm like, "Sorry." It's like it takes a little bit of time to change a planet and the whole human collective. It does take a bit of time.
this planet, I was according to the soul guides, and this is what Katie's soul guide, Mary Magdalene, actually told us. She said that the vibration of this planet was so dense and so low that there were many high vibe beings that couldn't even come here to assist,
Yeah,
because it was just too much. It was too dark, too low for them to have any effect on the frequency. But effect apparently over the last few years, we've actually been changing that. There's certain areas where they can come down and influence now because the frequency is higher in certain areas.
we've done a good job, Laura.
We really have.
We've done a great job.
Well,
Well, I know
there's some people been working longer than harder than others, for sure. You definitely deserve a round of applause, Steve, for how long you've been doing this work. Even the soul guides
well,
themselves, when we tuned in to check Steve out, the soul guides were like, make sure he knows how appreciated he is.
oh, thank you, thank you.
Because the soul
Well, I
guides
was
see how
born
hard you're working.
I was born in the late 50s, and I had a walk-in, I think probably I'm not quite sure, when I was younger anyway, and I'm not quite sure but I completely transformed, the idea of walk-in, this walk-in
Oh
thing.
yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah,
So you are
and
walking? Like you had a near death experience
I
or something, and you
I
yeah?
had a walk-in, um, yeah, I had a near-death experience, had a walk-in, um, nearly left the planet, and then in 2000, so I was a different person. My ex-wife said, "You're not the man I married," and I didn't tell her, but I said, "No, I'm not actually." But all my interests changed. I became, as a kid, I was really interested in alternative things, but I kind of switched it off, and then I got super on it again. Super dived in. I was in all my life became the exploration of metaphysics, and then shamanism and earth spirituality and all kinds of things. But then in 2010, I had two. The second one happened.
Really?
2010. Another one happened. Yeah. Well, and I just was in complete, like, nothing worked anymore. I don't know what was going on, and I resigned from my directorship as a director of this spiritual organization. My relationship dissolved. My life collapsed, and I was 6 years in a dark night of the soul. And
Wow.
I saw two healers that actually helped me out. One of them said, "You've had a second walk-in." And basically, I'm like, really? One was enough. Why would I have another one? Basically, the idea is, well, you have an upgrade to your soul mission. So, me being a director of this alternatives in London was one mission that ended. And I got this new mission, which took me 6 years to fully integrate and then come online with all this. Because what I'm doing now is way, way out from being a director of a spiritual organization. Even though I was hosting all of these names, Eckhart Tolle and Deepak Chopras and Neil Donald, all of these types, but I was just holding the space, holding the organization. Now I'm the actor being pushed through the curtain, going, "Now you're on." I'm like, "Eek! Now what do I do?" Uh, and at the beginning, I kind of said, what is it? Or they said, "You'll work it out," and which I think is always a bit of a cop out when guides say you're going to work it out.
Oh, it drives me nuts when I hear that.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
drives me
I
nuts.
want
They're like, "Do your
specifics.
homework."
Yeah, I want you to tell me exactly. I don't want you to tell me I'm going to work it out. That's not. Of course, I'll
Mhm.
work it out, but I want you to help me. But they were like, "No, no, you'll work it out." And then
Yep.
so I started this, going, "Well, what's it all about? You'll work it out." Okay. And then this was in 2016. After my Dark Night of the Soul started 2010. 2016, I started to come out, and then they said to me, "Start doing transmission." Well, my first transmission was like, "What is this?" It took me 2 weeks to really, a week to 2 weeks to really work it out. Now, after you know, how many years it's now? 16 years. How many years is it? I don't know how many years I've been doing. No, 2016. No, several years. Sorry, several years. I've kind of got a better grip on it. My mind's working out linear.
Time
Sorry,
doesn't
linear.
exist, Steve, it's fine.
Yeah. So now it comes, boom, it's out in like an hour or something. And then they told me early on, 2016, do sessions. I'm like, doing what? You'll work it out. Oh, great. Do workshops. You'll work it out. And so basically, the idea was start doing this, but we're not going to tell you how to do it because it's important for you to work out your own journey. So I get the impulse to do something, and then I don't bother asking, well, you know it will be you work it out. All right,
Yeah,
we'll
not
give you
anymore.
some
You don't
downloads.
bother asking. You already know what the answer is gonna be.
Yeah, and they will
They do
help me
like to
with
give
the
you a
with
little
downloads.
nudge, but they won't really, send you down the path. You gotta figure it out on your own.
Got to figure it out, and I get these nudges, and I'm better at working out the nudges and listening to it, and also I think for all of us on this journey, it's important to listen to guides. It's important to listen to higher self and angels, but it's also important to listen to the feedback coming through the reality that we're in, because
Yeah,
reality is a feedback mechanism. And there's so many people that go, no, no, I'm ignoring that. I'm just going to listen to my guides and ignore that. And that is, well, you can do that if you like, but I'd like to listen to the feedback through the reality and through what my guides are saying, because I can get a good picture from both, really. And is my intuition on track with what is going on and what I'm sensing out there? And so this is my way of moving through the world: intuition and listening to what people are saying, the feedback from the universe, because also our higher selves can speak to us through our reality, through the signs that
yeah,
hit us on the head, and through those conversations, and through whatever's going on in our reality. We get to know. So like if I have clients, I'll give you an example. I had a client years ago who said, she was a healer. I don't know if I'm any good. I don't know, all this doubt. I don't know. Is it working? Blah 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 blah. And I think people may go through this imposter syndrome. We all
oh, yeah.
probably have that. And
Yep.
then I said to her, "Well, what are your clients saying to you?" "Oh, they love me. They think it's great and it's really helping them. But is it working? Blah blah." And I'm like, "Really? Can you listen to yourself? All of your clients are saying it helps it, and your mind is going, yeah, but really blah." And so it's good to listen to the feedback as well. And another
Yeah,
feedback for a lot of people is, especially who are therapists and healers, is money. It is an important feedback for people. Is your business working? Well, I've got no money. Well, maybe something needs to be tweaked a little bit. Money can come in. It's a You need fuel for the journey. You need your spaceship to go from here to Jupiter. You don't want to run out halfway, which is money, is fuel. And we people ignore all these feedbacks, and and then of course there's the feedback we should listen to, which is a bit negative, like what people are saying, which might be reflecting our own doubt, our own fears, our own anxieties. So, and then we can take note. Oh, I still have some doubt to process. I still have some self-worth to process, or something. So I think it's
yeah.
useful to listen to our reality. That's my feeling anyway.
Absolutely, and sometimes you really do need to also tune out some of the naysayers as well, because there's so many people that are like crabs in a bucket. They try to pull you back down with them, and,
Yeah,
it's difficult when you're especially like a black sheep of the family as a good example, when you have, a bunch of people around you that are always telling you to do something that your heart says different, you know?
yeah, yeah. Well, if I hear that kind of thing, it's going to go, is there anything useful in this? There might be something useful in this. If there's not, ignore it. Because
Right,
judgment is not the same as feedback. People's judgments is not really feedback.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
Feedback is like I had someone once on one of my YouTube tracks saying the music's a bit too loud, and I was like, that's useful to know. I can tone it down. I can do something with that. Whereas people will say Jesus will save you, is, well, maybe that's useful, but I don't really feel I can do very much with that. People occasionally comment the religious. There's the occasional evangelist comes on, or the occasional religious guy who comes on going, God will save you or whatever, and I'm like, well, okay, bless you, thank you.
You are God, I'll save myself.
Yeah,
Technically,
heresy. I
we are
so
all God.
actually, I told you I had reflexology this morning, and it just reminded me of something, because the reflexologist asked, "Well, how are you doing?" And I just said, "Well, I've come back from Ireland. We had a retreat in Ireland, and the weather fairies were really good to us. We gave a little offering to the weather fairies, and the sun was beautiful. And then when we left, it kind of came down and closed into." And she looked at me like she was trying to process what I'm trying to tell her, and I could see by her look, oh, eek, oops. I've said something that, it's hard for this person to process. So I just backed off and just talked about something more 3D. so she could process it. Yeah, you got to realize who you're talking to, I suppose. And I thought, hey, she's a therapist. She's going to be more open, and she wasn't. But there we are.
Uh, Sometimes it's the therapists I've noticed that are very close-minded about these sort of things. I had a little spat with one this morning about bipolar disorder because I made a post about it's a long story, but there's a lot of people that hear a lot of voices, feel a lot of emotions, they're going on a constant roller coaster of emotions, you know, and we do obviously help people with bipolar and schizophrenia if they for the SRT. We've had some very effective cases, see some wonderful results. And you can't really get through to certain people that aren't willing to listen. They just it's shut down. I mean, I showed her results. I showed her the evidence. No, they won't even look at it. And this is a
Yeah,
professional. I mean, this woman is seeing clients on a daily basis who have these disorders, these issues. And yet I mean, there's no way for even a split second could I get through to her for even 1% of what I was selling. You know what I mean? What I'm trying to explain to her. It wasn't happening.
yeah, yeah. It can be like that. So my partner went to a party run by a friend of hers who runs spiritual groups, and she had all the spiritual women there at this party. And these kind of but I think they were kind of well-to-do, middle class. At the weekend, let's do our Reiki, whatever. And in the break, one of them said to my partner, "Well, what do you do?" And she said, "Oh, I work with star seeds." And apparently the woman backed away, like as if she was backing into a corner, like. And my partner said, Aren't you okay with that?" And some groups are skimming the surface and don't really go that deep, which is fine. That's where they are. I think over the years I've learned to judge quickly. I mean, this morning I made slight mistake with my reflexologist, but judge quickly the audience I'm speaking to. If I'm speaking to a 3D audience, I do not try and speak energy, chakras, higher self, angels, because they'll, look at me like crazy. My own 3D family now appreciate crystals, which has been a big step for them. They're asking me to buy them crystals. My grandkids all come in and pick up crystal. I've got all these crystals on my desk. I've got my
Oh, lovely.
mushrooms and
I love
dragons,
the
and
info. Love it.
there's an angel. So I've got loads of them here, and they're like, "Oh, we like these crystals. Can we have one? Can we take one?" Oh, by the way, this was a gift someone gave me recently in Ireland. I think this is my inner self. That's me somewhere. And yeah, oh, here's an angel I bought in Glastonbury actually, which is quite nice. I don't know if you can see that one. That's a really
Beautiful.
nice one. Yeah. So they're
Yeah,
always trying to kind of appropriate my crystals, and so they're into crystals, and now they're into homeopathy because they've been struggling and they've been taking homeopathy, which is an energy of calling healing system, and getting results. So slowly, you know, my ex-wife used to say to me, "What cult are you in now, Steve?" Now sends me orders for her crystals. Yeah, that was her. That's what she used to say to me for years. So what cult are you in now? And she's Catholic,
wow.
so I used to say to her, "Better one than you're in." She didn't see the funny side of that.
Yeah,
Because the
exactly.
Catholic Church is a pretty good cult, really, I think.
Oh, yeah, it's the biggest, probably.
If you look at all the signs of cults, it's got all the ticks, it's got all the
Yeah,
ticks.
exactly. Well, this shift, I think that's one of the best ways of noticing that things are actually ramping up, that the frequency is changing, that even those who are sound asleep are actually planting little seeds of their own and not even noticing it.
Absolutely. So I see Ashley
Mm.
has just put a comment. It doesn't seem like I can tell anyone I'm a starseed. It doesn't seem I can tell anyone I'm a starseed. Yeah, you have to choose your audience pretty well. And by the way,
You can
everyone
tell us,
following this
actually.
call is probably a starseed. I think most of you are going to be starseeds. Um,
Oh, yeah,
Otherwise, you just
everybody on
wouldn't
this.
be interested.
Well, we have a lot of earth seeds too. One of the most common questions when we do readings for people is, "Am I a star seed and where am I from?" And it's funny how we've actually found some earth seeds that way too, where I said, "Are they a star seed?" And they said, "No, they're from Earth. They're an earth
Okay.
seed, but they've been here a very long time and they've been evolving here. They have a very close connection with Gaia." And the earth seeds, I mean, they are just as powerful as the star seeds because they have a very deep, profound love for this planet. And they are instrumental in this too. So even if you're not a star seed, you can still be part of the clan, if you know what I
Oh,
mean.
yeah. We're all souls on our journey of awakening. When I went
Yeah.
to Ireland, when I looked around, a lot of the people I saw in Ireland were like sprouted from the earth. They looked like they were from the earth. They just sprouted out, like some of them were pretty thick set, square heads or something, and they like look
I'm
like
just
they're
seeing a
real earth.
hobbit in my head as you describe this. Like,
Well, they've got great sense of, the Irish have got a great sense of humor. It's really funny, very different from the English humor and the American humor, of course, which is different from the English
mhm.
humor. I think
Oh, yeah.
humor is really important to connect to in any culture if you're going to visit a culture.
100%.
So going to Ireland, you can have a great laugh. They say a great crack is what they say. Have you been to Ireland
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
in your travels?
I love Ireland, but Dublin is too many Americans for me.
Mm. And too
I've
stressful.
been
Dublin is stressful.
It is. Dublin's
Yeah.
very stressful. It's very expensive too. It's as expensive as Sydney, Australia was. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. Cork
I
is
was wondering
nicer. I think
why it's
Cork
so
is nice.
expensive, but yeah. But if you I've been to Cork, I've been to Galway, I've been all over. I love Ireland. I really do.
Yeah.
I've kissed the Blarney Stone. I've done all the,
Have you? Oh
yeah,
goodness. Well, when we were there,
with my
we did.
fingers. I didn't get down there to kiss it, just for the record. There's been a few million people that have done the same thing. Yeah.
We
But
visited
Ireland's
two stone circles. We did rituals in two stone circles, and the workshop was on abundance actually. And when we got back, my partner had an email, and it was like, "Oh, some abundance came her way."
Oh,
Yeah, and
yeah?
she was like, "I said, well, we just been on a retreat for abundance. You should be," but she's still processing it. She's like, "It was a significant gift from the universe." Put it that way. So yeah, and I mean, I feel totally abundant now. That's why I like doing the abundance ones because I feel I'm in the zone now. So I don't. I think I can do the abundance retreats. I can do. We played the money game where people bring real money and play with it, and all of their real stuff comes out when they play with money. It's not like theoretical, or I'm just going to meditate
Yeah.
on it. It's really funny playing the money game, and upsetting for some people. They didn't like what came out, but there we are. The point is to learn something about yourself because if we're aware, we can change something, whatever it is, whether it's about relationships or health or money, we can change it. But being aware is the most important thing. It's curative.
Yes.
Awareness is curative. So yeah, I'm love to. Well, like my first job was banking. So and then when I became a director of alternatives, I was really holding the money, finances, and the abundance vision for the organization. So um, I quite like. I think money is a really interesting energy to work with. It's got a lot of heavy density in it, but it can all be filtered out. Really, a
It's
bit
a
like
tool. It can be
filtering
used
water.
for good or for negative, just like many tools. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an important tool on this planet at this time.
Well, my
So,
daughter and son really appreciate the abundance flow because they're getting some of the generosity of it. They're like, "Oh, Dad, you're so." They don't mind me being weird because I'm generous and weird, which is not a bad combination for children.
have you noticed
If I
your
was
children kind of getting their feet wet with this kind of work, or are they still kind of finding themselves in their role in the universe?
my children are, my daughter is interested in psychics and a bit
Oh,
of tarot, but that's like as far as it goes. My brother's a medium actually. He can talk to spirits which have passed over. He's very good at it, but he's
yeah.
not very deep in the spiritual journey. So you can be very good at talking to Auntie Jane and Uncle Bob, but Uncle Bob and Auntie Jane may not be very wise on the other side either, which is what I find because his vibration's not that high particularly. So he's meeting relatives who are like talking. I don't know if you've ever been to a spiritualist church, but a lot of the information comes through is very like, really? Am I sitting listening to, you know, clean your bedroom drawers and, check your pockets? And it's like, I mean, have you ever heard that kind
Place
of
to
stuff?
get your
Like,
feet wet if you're leaving the Christian church or something, and you don't want to overload yourself, I guess, with
yeah.
too much. It's a
Well, it
soft
proves life
landing.
after death, because that's the main
Yeah.
thing. Gives you a proof there are beings on the other side, which is, my brother says that's the entire focus of it, to prove that the soul continues, you know. But once you get
They've
that,
proved
then
that for hundreds of years. We already know that. I mean, this is something that so many people they still, so many people don't even believe in ghosts, and it's like we already know ghosts are real. Like who? I mean, you can pick them up with
yeah.
your Tesla these days. Like, come on, like, how are you going to disavow that?
Yeah, you could pick them up anywhere really.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as you
I was
know,
just
you
laughing
you
because
must
there was
have
a guy that
clients.
drove through. He was driving through a cemetery, and his Tesla had one of those things where they could pick up people like on the side of the road. And as he's driving through the cemetery, the Tesla was picking up spirits all around his car, and he couldn't see
Oh,
people, but the car was picking it up as if there were pedestrians about to cross in front of him.
I've not heard that one before.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that have started doing it. One guy started it, and then like hundreds of videos now of people driving their Teslas through cemeteries. You got to check it out. It's crazy. You can actually see the spirits popping up on the computer as if they're pedestrians about to get in front of the car, and yet you can't see anybody. Yeah.
And people
So I
want
mean,
to do that. People are wanting to do that.
yeah. Oh, there's sorts of people that go. There's a what was it called? It was a ghost finder something or other. I was actually looking at this morning. I think it was like $600. Oh, it's called Gotcha Ghost. Gotcha Ghost. And they literally get this right where they can see stick figures of ghost on a pad on a tablet. So you hold up your tablet, and as you're walking through a cemetery, you'll see stick figures popping up and walking around in front of you and waving at you. And yeah, like you
Oh,
can actually pick up ghosts on your tablet these days. Like
well,
it's
I don't know if your
wild.
audience saw, but I did a podcast with you in a Ghostbusters suit. Do you remember the image? A great photo of you with a
I was not
Ghostbuster.
wearing the Ghostbuster suit for the record. I did have a laugh though. I was like, where did Steve give that photo? I didn't give him that. He must have found
I got
that
it
on
from somewhere.
Facebook.
Where? But weren't you
I
wearing that
laughed so
suit?
hard when I saw you put my picture up with the Ghostbuster costume. But I mean, we were having a laugh that day. But the funny thing is, nobody really understood what we do until I put that getup on.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah. I thought
explained
it
to
was a perfect
people,
picture.
we haunt places and people, and they're like, "You do what?" And then I put on the Ghostbusters gear, and they're like, "Oh, you're a Ghostbuster. You chase
Yeah,
ghosts away." I'm like, "Well, I do more than that, but yeah, it's the gist of it, yeah."
I thought it was a great picture.
Thank you, Steve. We were just having a
Yeah,
good laugh.
yeah. Because you actually need more high res photos. Because I think the ones you sent me weren't high res enough or something. So I found that one which worked.
I don't even take selfies. I'm not. I'm still
Oh, you
using image
must.
trace from 10 years ago. I
Oh,
just
you
don't
must
care
take a
about
few.
pictures.
Yeah, but people want to know who
Well,
you
add it
are,
to the
the
list.
face behind the voice. They want to know who you are.
Yeah, I'll add it to the list of things I got to do for my adulting. We do have some questions popping up in here. I figure I'd get into some of those questions.
Well,
There was
someone
one
says this
question.
is not how I imagine Steve to look. Oh my God, I should have put on my
He's
my
even more
psychedelic
handsome than
shirt.
you expected, isn't he?
Thank you.
Yes.
Very good.
So Donna had a question a few minutes ago, but I wanted to, continue our chat. Donna says, "Do you have to have an NDE in order to be a walk-in, a
No,
near-death experience?" No, you don't.
no, you don't. No, my one in 2010 was not a near death experience. My one in 2010 was I met someone and we had an intense karmic relationship. At the beginning, I thought it was this twin soul thing, but I've kind of gone off that idea now. But we had such an intense, and it threw me in such a process. And in that process, part of me actually left, and I just felt in this
Wow.
existential crisis for quite a while. I didn't realize what was going on. So yeah, that one wasn't caused by a near death. A lot of them are, but they're not all caused by near death.
Those are the most
Um,
obvious
but
cases for
afterwards, what will
sure.
happen is you will feel, yeah, most obvious is near death ones. Um, but yeah, that one of the reasons why walk-ins happen, I think, is because when you mentioned earlier this planet was very low density, high vibrational beings can come here. Walk-in was one of the processes which allowed them to come. So hey, you've already got a body, you finished with your soul contract, it's kind of come to an end, you're not getting anywhere with it, let's exchange. And which could be for another aspect of your own soul, or it can be for another soul. So my first one was another soul, and this one was a higher aspect of my own soul to continue what I was doing. And yeah, you will find that your sense of direction, what you're doing, what you want to do, your sense of purpose will all change. It may build on what you were doing before, but it will become very different. So from where I am now, for what I was doing 7 years ago, feels like a million years ago. Feels like a whole lifetime away. I think my old colleagues in alternatives, I was already quite way out for them already back in those days. I'm now very way out for them. And they're a spiritual organization, a pretty
Yeah.
far out one at that compared to what's going on in London. But I was already the one exploring, always the one pushing the universe, going, well, what's beyond this? And they were like, let's put on what we know. We know about voice, we know about Reiki, we know about, and I'm like, no, let's find out what else is out there. And they did trust me in that process, and so it was quite cutting edge. I mean, hopefully the organization's still cutting edge. It's still going strong. It's been going for 40 odd years, I think, and making a big difference. It's touched a few 100,000 people in its time it's been going, so it has made a real big difference. But now, I mean, on YouTube I've got 183,000 followers, so I'm able, just me alone, just to one video can touch, thousands of people, which I get a buzz from. I feel I'm making a difference, which I never believed I could in people's
Yes,
lives.
you
It's a
are.
wonderful feeling to do, really. So, when I
Why
sit
wouldn't
down
you?
having my cup of tea and cake, I think I've deserved it.
You honestly, that feeling of pride is very important. To have pride in your work and to have pride in your mission and why you came here and what you've been doing since you got here. And you sure as hell deserve it. You really do, you Steve. You've been working your butt off. You've
From a
been
very
really.
early age,
And to go from
I have.
banking to this, like it just speaks volumes about how much of a soul evolution this path has actually been for you. I mean, you've been probably building your frequency up rather high over the
It,
last few years.
it also took a lot of pain and a lot of angst as well. In that, there was periods of lots of pain and angst. I've got two brothers that basically look at me going, I'd done 13 years psychotherapy when I was younger, and they're kind of like, what's the problem? Hey, have a beer. I'm like, well, I'm feeling bloodline energies, all of it, feeling what's going on. They weren't, and a lot of people don't feel it, which is great for them because they don't feel it. I feel it all, a lot of it, and it's painful, a lot of it. And I think it does give a certain empathy for suffering, which a lot of the work I'm doing is trying to help people in their suffering and neutralize that suffering and go beyond suffering, because the point of suffering, the lesson of suffering is don't do it anymore. There are some lessons in suffering, but at the end of it is like, we don't need to do that anymore. There's more growth in joy, in success, however that's defined, more growth in love, more growth, these things which we expand. Suffering gets to be rather boring and repetitive, and there's very little growth in it, really.
Yeah.
Even though a lot of people on the planet are suffering, and I do have empathy for them, of course.
Well, there's been this long time consensus that you need to suffer for your soul to evolve, and I don't agree with that. Dolores Cannon didn't agree with that. There's a lot of people that are realizing that the suffering is not mandatory. Unfortunately, it's often a side effect of ignoring the lesson to where it
Yeah,
gets to that point where, it's like if you don't get the memo, it's going to get louder and louder and bigger and more chaotic until you
yeah,
finally start to pay attention.
yeah. There's that saying, isn't it? If you don't hear the whispers, you'll hear the shouts eventually. And if you don't hear the
Mhm.
shouts, then you'll get something even stronger. Uh, and this is important to be awake, really, because there's a lot of people walking into brick walls that, it could be avoided. Those kind of things can be avoided. You don't have to. A good friend of mine had a way. He was in the city of London, earning a lot of money. Pretty double Scorpio, pretty not dense, but pretty protected and guarded, I would say. He had a near-death experience on the motorway, hit a lorry at 100 miles an hour, car spinning, and he woke up. I'm like, well, that's one
Wow.
way of waking up. You could have done it in a nicer way, but hey, it worked. So, and some people wake up through cancer, very strong experiences in the body, but it doesn't need to be that strong if we listen. But we're not listening, then it gets stronger and stronger, as you say.
Oh, it's I just I had an astral projection experience in 2012. My soul guides literally pulled me out of body, dragged me out, and had a face-to-face conversation with me. And I said, "Why? Why are we having this conversation?" They said, "We've been trying to get your attention for years, Lara." You are so stubborn. Every time we try to get through to you, you just whoop, shiny thing, and you're off on another thing. Like you don't focus on the message and what we're trying. So we literally, the only thing we could do is we had to drag you out of body and tell you to you straight.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's why I had my second walk-in was because I wasn't listening. Right, bang, 6 years in a dark night of the soul. You listening now? I am. I'm listening
Yeah.
now.
That
Yeah,
dark
and
night
that
of the
dark
soul.
night revealed a lot of things that I wasn't aware of dark entities to that extent, or hell realms. I did not have no idea of it, and now I'm like, oh, okay.
You had
Now
to
I
see
got the
what
memo
it's
and I
like.
got the experience, which was
Yeah.
pretty intense. And those beings and those places are out there, and they're pretty. It was very useful to have the experience of it actually, because I realize, there's a lot of people who are being influenced by lower beings, which are not really aware of it. I'm sure a lot of these politicians are being overshadowed by darker entities.
Reptilians are one of the things we often discuss on this podcast because people are well aware how much they are influencing us. In fact, one of the soul guides just the other day said, if only you knew, if you could really see what people were actually are in Hollywood, you see the beautiful blonde hair, the makeup, and the breast implants, but what you don't really see is what's skin deep, and that they're actually quite green and scaly underneath all that. Like, that's
Yeah,
what the
yeah,
soul guide saying it. I mean,
yeah,
I was, yeah, this is our world that we're in. It's a zoo and we don't even notice it in most cases. It's
yeah,
wild.
yeah. I
You
know.
have
I've
your
never
fair
been to
share of
Hollywood.
healing.
I'm not.
I'm sure
I'm not drawn to Hollywood.
I was gonna say the Lizzies do tend to bother you a little bit on occasion. They do try and mess with you, but
Well,
it's
yeah. You've been very helpful, you and Katie, very helpful clearing out. Oh, they've been really interfering. And I guess what they are able to utilize is people's traumas. Because in my, I've had a couple of traumas in this lifetime, and they just got their finger. They go, "Ah, right in it. Let's wiggle it about." And of course, then you're like, oh, and then they can. I think trauma is what opens us up to a lot of problems, and which is why we really have to heal trauma. We can get rid of these things, and the trauma has to be healed as well, whatever the trauma is. The psyche has to be healed, so they can't get in so much, and raise the frequency of our whole being so they can't get in so much. But I'm still bothered regularly. Yeah, regularly. They pop in for tea often, and sometimes I'm not aware, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm having tea with them. I didn't know." And there they are, having a good
I had
laugh
an
while I'm.
attack last night. Out of nowhere, I just started to have splitting headaches, and it felt like somebody kept repeatedly hitting me in the back of the head last night. In fact, I can still kind of feel it, funnily enough.
Right.
Like it's like a bruise at the back of my head is what it feels like, and it was rough last night. I really struggled. But funnily enough, I did a self clearing with one of those recordings. I'm telling you guys, we do have some pinned to the top of of my page where that's the soul guides have done previous clearings for everybody, and they said if you watch the recording that they will know and they will come in and do the clearing again. So last night I couldn't get a hold of a medium, and I watched the recording, and sure enough, the headaches went away. The ungrounded feeling where your legs are really wobbly and you don't really feel with it, and you're kind of like sleep drunk almost in a way is what it feels like. Yeah,
Yeah.
that hit me hard last night, and I laughed. I was like, it's probably because I'm on with Steve tomorrow. They did
Oh,
appreciate me.
yeah. They do tend to come in before we do retreats or come in before we do anything.
Mhm.
Yeah, they do.
Trying
Unfortunately,
to throw
it's
a spanner in the works before we even get started.
yeah, it's part. I mean, it's kind of waking us up to deeper levels of psychic hygiene, I suppose, and psychic
Yeah.
awareness. But sometimes I wish, wouldn't it be a bit easier? Couldn't it? It seems to be an ongoing workshop. The workshop never ends. Even in the nighttime, it's still going on. In the dreams and processing whatever's going on in the dreamscape, and also interference in the dreams happen. I program myself to wake up if I'm being attacked in the night, so I can wake up quickly and clear it, rather than go through some. Because there are nightmares where we're processing stuff, but there is a certain quality of, you must know that one, where
Oh, yeah.
this is not a dream. This is someone
This
plugging
is
in and
real.
trying
Somebody's
to.
messing with my
Yeah,
dream state. Yeah. And sometimes The funny thing is, we've actually found that sometimes the really smart ones do not attach to you. They do like guerrilla warfare where they come in while you're sleeping, they hit you real hard, and then they're out before you even wake up. That's
Yeah,
how the really smart ones go because then you don't know what hit you. You're just like, why do I feel like I got my ass kicked in my sleep? And it's
yeah,
like, I feel, yeah, you wake up feeling just drained and not even know why you feel so rough. And then sure enough, we go and ask the soul guides, why do they feel so rough today? And they're like, oh, there's residual energy of a Lizzie. They came in and battered you in your sleep and then ran off again. That's what they do.
nice.
I mean, they're
Well, when I was
smart. They don't want to get
yeah,
captured.
when I was single, I used to check astrological alignment with possible partner, feel, and then I would also check, are there any entities in this person's field? And there was one good candidate, and we actually got intimate, and hey, nothing, everything's clear, fabulous, we can go deeper. And oh my God, when we moved in, the entities popped out for tea, full blast. And then I realized, how did I miss them? They were hiding, as you say. I didn't realize they were there. They were smart ones. And
Yeah.
that was a
It's
learning
even
curve, and a
beneficial
very
to
painful
your
one.
chakras. There's even times where the soul guides, I'll be going through the clearing and we'll get to the chakras and they'll be like, oh, there's one hiding in a chakra. I just got it. So they do the initial clearing of the etheric, but then sometimes they're so deeply embedded and rooted in your own energy centers that they hide among your energy and it's hard to clear them sometimes. It's crazy how smart they can be.
Yeah, very smart. I'm going to have a word with the creator when I get over there and ask him a few things. And I don't understand. Reptilians don't really get it. Beards for men, it's a bit of time waste. I think, can we not do beards next time? Underarm, nose, hair, I understand, don't want bugs going up there, but beards, what's the point, really? And, there's a few things I need to chat to the higher end energetic realm about the blueprint of this place. I think we need to alter some of the things, really.
Maybe you were just Andromedan in a past life. They don't do the whole facial hair thing, you know?
Oh,
So
I was. I had my galactic astrology done just to see if it aligned with my feeling. Andromeda, Lyra, Sirius in a line. So the furthest ones was Andromeda, then Lyra, which was difficult, and then Sirius, which was apparently karmically difficult and good, but difficult. So yeah, that's my progression down here. Andromeda, those were the days.
Andromeda, I mean, hey, the funny thing is all of these ancient races are kind of watching us now, aren't they? They're very vested and they have an interest in what's going to happen on this planet.
Yeah. Well, we can connect with them. I have got at least 3 transmissions with Andromedans. I should do more actually. And I've got lots with Assyrians and Pleiadians and Arcturians. They're my favorite ones. I did do some with Aldebaran recently that I quite like them, but they kind of come in and they go. So I had them for a week, like a love affair for a week, and then they disappeared. But while they're here, it's like, hey, we're partying and we're having fun. So I think the Andromedans. Oh, someone was an Andromedan princess. That's very nice. My partner, we kind of I call her my Lyran princess because we think we had a Lyran connection there, although
You
not
mean like the Pleiadian Lyran or like the cat people Lyran?
human Lyrans.
Human
So
Lyrans, yeah.
the humanoid Lyrans, not the kind of cat ones. Yeah,
Our
we had that.
ancestor, our common ancestor, really. We all kind of came from the Lyrans. They were the original humans, is what I was told.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, I think the Palladian was a colony of the Lyrans. They kind of
Yes,
founded a
they
lot of
were.
colonies in their
Yeah.
wanderings. And for the Lyrans, it's this feeling of wandering, which I do have this feeling of being a wanderer and also not having a home because the Lyran have that, home destroyed by those nasty, weird beings. And galactic wars, which is this is the problem, galactic warfare, which is now playing out on Earth, the galactic war here. We're
Yes.
experiencing the Orion scenario again.
Yeah.
It's just,
Again, we are reliving what happened in Atlantis in modern times.
yeah,
It's
it's
all
like they haven't
happening
learned
again.
it yet. Let's do it again. They want to have another replay. Continents blown up, tsunamis. Hey, this is fun. Whoa.
Whole
No, it's not
planet's
fun.
blown up. Look what happened with Tiamat, like
Yeah, it's
yeah, we've been through a lot here on Earth, and it's been a short period of time, really. If you think about it, only what 13,000 years give or take.
Yeah.
Obviously, before then there was still drama, but that was about the time when things really heated up, and
Oh, the
we've
Atlantean thing.
been trying
Yeah.
to repair that damage ever since.
Oh, yeah. I think I don't know if Dolores talked about that much, but I do feel the Earth fell in dimensions with that. It crashed from fourth dimension to third, where we're
Yeah,
the
they
most
did it done
extreme.
artificially. They said, yeah, it's a long story about why they did it, but Tiamat was destroyed. It was a water planet very close to ours, which became the asteroid belt. All of that water came here, caused a pole shift, and the problem with Tiamat was that it was wobbling. They were detonating nukes on the surface, and being a water planet, they said that the ripples caused massive fluctuations in the planet, and it vibrated itself apart. It basically just crumbled itself apart. And they
Goodness.
said that Earth, because of all the water that came from Tiamat, started to wobble too. And so their big justification in altering our planet was to put the moon up where Tiamat kind of similar area where it was. And this was a defunct Andromedan biosphere that they ended up using as kind of like what do you call it? Just to kind of keep the frequency lower
Yeah.
here on Earth.
Stabilized.
Yes, it
Yeah.
stabilized the planet, but at the same time, it screwed us over because now we can't really see. It's like you can't see the ticks that are on your leg anymore, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. The moon.
So,
I've got a moon matrix magic reversal transmission because for a number of years
hmm,
ago, I realized the moon is a problem. We need to because I worked intensively with the moon energy as a shaman in the shamanic tradition and all that, and I saw a lot of the lunacy that went on in the Wiccan tradition and all that, and I realized the moon is the problem. And there are some teachers talking about the moon being the problem, and so I've disconnected from the moon, and I use the solar Gaia circuit, which is the sun to Earth, which is the
yes.
circuit which is safe. The moon to Earth is not a safe circuit. There is no goddess in the
I
moon.
don't even
The
charge my
moon,
crystals in moonlight anymore. I don't make moon water, none of that. It's imbuing all of your crystals and water with matrix energy. It actually is counterproductive.
yeah, I don't do anything with the moon anymore.
Okay.
Um, although the issue of women's menstrual cycles, I know some channels have said women naturally should be like linked to the solar cycle, but I think that's going to be a few years away yet because till the frequency rises. Because I have we've done some experimenting with it, and I don't think the planet's ready for people to go yet to the solar cycle. So I won't go too much detail with that, but so for the time being aligned with the moon cycle is fine. It seems it doesn't, it's the
Clockwork for
gravity.
me, like literally the day of the full moon for me. It's like, damn.
You're on it,
Yeah,
yeah. I think for
yeah,
the moment
literally
it's okay. It's the mention. I think it will change when the planet hits a
on
certain frequency, but at the moment, if you try and change it, what I've seen is that people's cycles go way all over the place, and it creates a lot of problems. So I've not really, and not being a woman, I would explore on myself, but not being a woman, I don't feel I can do that. So you know, and so
Well,
I'm,
you do.
what
I
I've
worked
seen,
in a hospital and I saw on full moons there would be twice as many people coming into the ER.
yeah,
We would always be so busy on a full moon, and they would know. I mean, this would be expected. The doctors would be like, "Okay, we need to double up our staff." This was projected. They would, this is something that even the normies are aware of.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, there's the Wolfman myths and the Dracula and all of these kind of things, and all the horror movies with the full moon. And yeah, I think people should avoid the moon, not be frightened of the moon. Certainly not disconnect
No,
for women, not disconnect the cycle or try to do that, but don't work magically with it. This opens you up to lower astral. This is my feeling anyway. Not to work with the moon. And a lot of people are like, no, 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 I love the moon. Especially in Glastonbury, where we go, it's heresy to say don't work with the moon because everyone's working with the moon there, all the goddess people and shamans. And so down there, I have to keep my mouth zipped. All right, well, you do what you want to do, but I'm gonna do what I want to do. So the moon, yeah, people get
I
very
always
upset.
feel best at a new moon. Whenever there's a new moon, I sleep well. I feel very at peace. Like the new moon is my favorite time.
Yeah, yeah, we're
Yeah.
affected by the gravity of it, and but it's basically a base for all kinds of positive, neutral, and negative entities. I think there's a load of people using that base. So I heard someone say it's a bit like Switzerland, where it's a kind of neutral zone, where all kinds of beings can have their bases there, and they leave each other alone. On And of course, the secret
Switzerland is a
government.
good example, considering CERN is there and all the other elites that
Oh,
live there, and all the chaos. And it's a lovely place to visit. I mean, you go there, you don't feel anything really negative when you go there because it's got the balance, I guess.
I guess I think the dark cabal governments have got all their bases there, and they can hang out there if they want to. For now, anyway. That
Yeah,
that
for
won't go
now.
on forever. All of that stuff will eventually crumble and change. And I do think the technologies they've developed, because they've got a lot of technology, advanced technology, will be eventually used for the good of the planet once the frequency raises. A lot of the UFOs are secret government UFOs. A lot of them are bases from the moon. That's where a lot of them are based there. So yeah, it'll all come out in the wash. I hope I get to see some of it, in this lifetime. Otherwise, I'll come back and enjoy it another lifetime.
The Soul
When the Earth's a
Guides
bit
said
easier.
the other day, they said over the next 40 years, the Earth will change more than it has in 13,000.
Yeah, yeah. I do feel 2030, 32 is going to be an interesting marker shift. 2050, another one. I think there are these markers where the planet's going to shift. We're in the Mayan calendar of the sixth sun now, and the Toltec calendar of the sixth sun. The old energies are not the energies that supported the old world are not there anymore. But of course, the old world are still running, going, "Hey, we're in charge. We're in power. We can do what we want." They don't realize the blueprint's kind of being whisked away, and well, they might have an idea about it because they're trying to attack star seeds, thinking that they can stop the whole process, but by attacking star seeds, but it doesn't stop the process really. It just pisses off
There's
star seeds really.
starseeds coming in every day. The children, most of the children coming in, I believe, are starseeds now.
A lot of them are, yeah, a big proportion of them are. I think, from what I understand, in 2030 it will go up, and 2050 it will go up again. There'll come a point where there'll only be star seeds coming on the planet. We're not quite there yet, and then of course consciousness will be a star seed planet.
Yeah,
you know
yes, it will.
and that means the leadership will be starseed conscious, and we won't have anybody behind the scenes because there won't be anybody here who are not of a higher consciousness. That's the real shift, but we've got to wait for that. The old fuddy-duddies have got to die off, and they can go off wherever they want to go and explore their soul's evolution in some boring tyrannical global tyranny place, whatever they want to create, which is what they want to try and create. They can enjoy it somewhere else, really.
Yeah.
Digital IDs and all of that, and maybe chips in your hands where you beep in. They'll have fun there.
This is why my soul guides during my astral projection experience, it was funny. They said, "Do you want a new world order?" And I was like, "No, why would I want a new world order?" They're like, "Then stop talking about it because you're going to put yourself into that trajectory." That's if you don't talk about those things, you're not going to manifest those things. You have to focus on what you do want, then you don't. And that was a huge
Yeah,
lesson for me, one of the biggest.
yeah. I think it's good to be aware of them, but to know they're poodling off somewhere else and we're on another
Yes,
timeline.
not to dwell on it, not to let it lower your vibration, not to
Yeah,
expect it.
yeah. Oh, I don't expect it. I expect them to go,
Yeah,
because what I
same.
think will happen is slowly but surely there'll be revelation. It's already happened with WikiLeaks, and Julian Assange was released recently. WikiLeaks and those kind of whistleblowers have been revealing the dark, and that's what's really breaking it apart for the human collective. The human collective are not meditating; they're not, but they're seeing we're being lied to, and that's creating a massive shift. A number of people are waking up on the planet who are Earthseeds. That's the shift that the cabal don't want. They don't want them to know. That's why they locked Julian Assange away for so many years. He was dangerous. People like that are dangerous to them because the truth is dangerous. So, and the truth will come out. Can't stop it now.
No, you can't.
You
Absolutely.
can censor
And
it
this
on
is
Facebook as much as you like, but it won't stop it from coming out.
no, it won't. And I think that's why they're putting so much effort into the disinformation and I mean, even the spraying of the skies and CERN and 5G and so many different things that they use to lower the frequency and distract people. And it's all for naught, really. I can tell that they're just, it's a last ditch effort on their part.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I see Ray says we should use the energy of the moon to pull our shadow parts, negative energy in you up. Well, yeah, I don't personally do that one. But if it works for you, great. I think the negative energies can be dissolved by angelic, uh, which is what I use, angelic energies, and also earth energies to dissolve these
Yes.
negative, dense, crystallized energies. I don't think really I want to use the moon because the moon, first of all, is not alive. It's not a live planet. It's not a live being. So I don't know what energies we are using when we connect to it. But you can use the energy of the earth. As I mentioned, the one I'm doing black obsidian, dandelion flowers. I love the energies of the earth. I'm using flower essences all the time, using crystals all the time. They're very good at pulling out, extracting things in our field. And
Yes.
angelic energy is very good at shifting and raising the vibration. So that's my own method, actually. Yeah. So, but
Yeah.
we must all do
If it
what
works.
works. Yeah. There we are.
Exactly. Yeah, this
Yeah.
you have no idea how refreshing it is to hear you say all this because I'm always ranting about the moon. So I really am.
Yeah. Bless the moon, and people are having fun up there. Maybe they're having parties, whatever they're doing in there. But yeah, I don't
I definitely
personally get a
prefer
good
when there's
feel for it
fun.
at all. Yeah, I don't get, and now I stopped meditating on it. I feel a lot better, a lot lighter, because our channel is sun to earth. That's my feeling, sun to earth. You can, if you want to work with earth to the central sun of Pleiades, you can try working with earth to central sun of Sirius. You can try working, if you really are good at it, working with earth to the core of Andromeda, but that's quite a strong one. You can do all of these, but really to connect to a live sun is so much more powerful than connecting to an empty
Yes.
artificial object, which is what the moon is really. It's an artificial station that looks like it's
Yep.
real. But there we are. But hey, I did it for 10 years, so I know that energy very, very well. It's powerful and very strong. But hey, we must all do our own
Well, it
thing.
has to be to keep this planet in check, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, the moon's got its work cut out to keep the star seeds in check because they're a feisty bunch, as we can see with you, Lara. You're not going to keep nothing can keep you down, right?
No, they try, but they fail every time.
Yeah,
Well,
very good.
we need to be tough. We have a very important mission to carry out. So,
Yeah,
and it's the best thing I think I could have chosen to come down here and do out of all the different careers and things that I feel like I could have chosen. This one excites me the most. I mean, I was a
yeah,
firefighter too. I like the bells and whistles and excitement.
yeah.
So for me, this is yeah.
Are you Aries by any chance?
I'm a Taurus.
Are you? Because
Yeah.
you must have a bit of fire in you. You kind of got this fiery.
Leo sun. That's the sorry, no, sorry,
Ah,
Leo rising. That's the reason. Yeah,
okay. Leo rising. All
conversation.
right. All
I'm
right.
a
Well, there
Pisces
you are.
moon as well, so that's where I
Oh,
get
I'm a
all
Pisces moon. That's why we connect.
yeah.
I'm a Pisces moon. Well, Maria says the mushrooms here. Sorry, Ray says the mushrooms healer was very connected to moon. I feel the mushrooms would have shown it was fake. Well, I have actually journeyed with mushrooms many times myself, and they're not telling me to go there. And I ain't, they mushrooms are connected to the earth. They are of the earth. So every time I've journeyed with any of these things, they pull you into nature. You just get to see the power of nature expand. I've never once seen the moon coming in at all. It's always nature getting like suddenly like I'm a little being and nature's huge, like that. But hey,
Yes,
yeah,
gotta love
um,
Gaia.
gotta
I'm
love
gonna share
Gaia
your
is
links. I've got your soul matrix is your
yeah,
Facebook page.
yeah.
I've got that one I'm gonna share for everybody so they can subscribe. I've been commenting on your stuff, trying to give you a little boosty boost on your Facebook page. So make sure you guys subscribe to Steve's Facebook page. There's the link for that. And then we've got the YouTube channel.
Have you got my Instagram,
I'm gonna
YouTube and
share that as
Instagram maybe?
well. I want them to check out your YouTube channel, especially. You guys have got to see Steve's meditations on there. They are incredible. Really phenomenal meditations. Some of
There's
them
also
are
the podcast where you're on.
yes,
It's
yes,
a separate
indeed.
channel, the podcast.
Yeah, we had a wonderful chat, mostly about spirit
We did.
releasement.
Yeah.
Just gonna make sure we've got your other link. Because you did email me some more links, didn't you? Oh, here they
Yeah,
are. Nice. And here's your Instagram. Wonderful. And you do mentorship as well. You do retreats, I know, but do you do a
I
mentorship for
do
people?
one-to-one sessions, which are mostly clearing sessions. They're kind of spiritual coaching, energy clearing. Yeah, I do that. They can read about that on my website if they want to check that out.
Ashley says, I love Steve's YouTube channel so much. Has helped me a lot. And now I use his along with Andy's meditation daily.
Oh, there we are. Nice to have fans. And
Yes, but a lot of
Nanya,
people know you.
yeah.
This is how Steve and I were
I do
talking.
nap
One of
to
my
them.
followers went to one of your retreats and had a wonderful experience in one of your retreats. And then she messaged me going, "You have to meet Steve. He's wonderful." And I was like, "Okay, cool.
Oh,
I'll meet Steve."
that was
It was
Cat.
Kat
That was
who said
Cat,
it. Yeah, it's Kat.
the lovely Cat, and
Yeah.
her partner Andrew. Yeah, they were raving about you. They said,
Oh.
"Well, we heard you talk about the moon, but then we listened to Lara, and now we believe you because Lara said it, so it must be true." I was like, "Oh, okay."
I get my information from Pleiadians. 'Cause I am a Pleiadian. That's who pulled me out of body 12 years ago for that conversation was two Pleiadians. So really, I mean, I am a star seed, and so I am. But the funny thing is, I've also been here since Atlantis. I was here during that whole first Orion War. In fact, I died during the Orion Wars, and that's why I've been here ever since.
Oh, right.
So yeah, I've
Goodness.
been connecting with my spirit team, and that's what I've gotten so far as to why I've been here this whole time. So I was a starseed 13,000
Okay.
years ago, and I'm still doing the starseed stuff even now. So apparently, old habits die hard.
I'm sure I met you if we had tea. I'm sure we had tea somewhere.
Oh, without a doubt,
Well, thanks for having me on,
absolutely.
Laura. Thanks for
It's
having
a
me on.
pleasure, Steve.
And thank you to
Wonderful
everyone.
chat, and thank you so much for everybody that joined us today. And yeah, make sure you check out Steve's meditations. They are incredible. And maybe next, we'll have you on another time. Maybe we can talk more about some of the mother father wound stuff as well, because people really,
Oh,
really
yeah.
have a lot of healing in that aspect.
Yeah, sure.
Wonderful. So make
Thanks,
sure you
Laura.
check out the soulmatrix.com, everyone, and check out Steve's YouTube channel. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Have a wonderful weekend. See you soon. Bye,
Bye,
guys.
Laura.